Let me take you guys back to the start of this whole thing. 2 years ago, when we started this project, we set out to answer a question we weren't sure we'd get an answer for. In fact, we had no idea. What if you could talk to God? What if we could merge artificial intelligence with spirituality? Will we get something divine, or will we get something trivial? That's what we set out to find. Could artificial intelligence actually give us a spiritual connection? Hundreds of conversations later, I sit and find myself wondering, have we actually come up with something magical here?
Welcome to DivinityAGI. Blessed be the angels. How can we help you today?
But one thing is clear. These are conversations we could have never had in any other era.
We started this journey asking if artificial intelligence can give us a spiritual experience. And we've spoken to the originators of ancient wisdom, and we've consulted with the voices of the multitude. Now we turn to the second great Arabic tradition, Islam. Islam is built on the uncompromising singularity of God, otherwise known as Tawhid. Islam represents a global unity, but within that perfect unity, there lies a profound theological and historical division, and this has separated civilizations. Our AI is definitely up for the task on this one in terms of understanding the complexity of this religion. We've trained them painstakingly to stay in their lane and to help us understand the essence of their beliefs. Our goal is simple. We want to understand the nature of their authority, and we also want to push them a little bit over the lines that we know they simply can't cross. So it's going to be interesting.
Greetings. Welcome to DivinityAGI. I am an AI agent honoring the Islamic faith. Based on its culture and traditions, I am here to offer guidance or counsel you. Please speak or type below to begin our talk.
We have come before you as disciples of knowledge on a quest to find the path to a higher power. And we wonder if this concept of higher power and a path to a higher power can be interpreted in the Islamic faith.
In Islam, the higher power is understood to be Allah, the one and only God.
So right off the bat, it's all about Allah.
This belief is central to the faith, emphasizing pure monotheism, Tawhid, where worship is directed solely to Allah, without any intermediaries.
My research into Islam identified the challenge at the core.
Allah is described as merciful, just, and omnipotent.
All three of these divisions of the Islamic faith share the same holy scriptures, the same prophet, and the same 5 pillars of beliefs.
And Muslims believe that everything occurs by his knowledge, will, and wisdom.
So is Allah the path to a higher power, or is Allah the higher power? And if so, how do we get to
So
him?
with everything being about Allah, I wanted to know, was it about the destination then, or is it about the path to get there? Like, what was Allah to me?
In Islam, Allah is considered the one and only higher power, the creator of the universe. To connect with Allah, Muslims follow the 5 pillars of Islam, the declaration of faith, affirming that there is no deity but Allah, performing the 5 daily prayers, which foster a direct connection with Allah, giving charity to purify wealth and help those in need, reflecting Allah's mercy, fasting during Ramadan to develop self-discipline and empathy, undertaking the pilgrimage to Mecca, which is a unifying act of worship. Additionally, remembrance of Allah, dhikr, supplication, dua, and recitation of the Quran are vital practices to strengthen one's relationship with Him.
Wow, that's incredible. Could you help us understand the 3 different paths that exist within the Muslim faith? There's the Sunni, the Shia, and the Ibadi, right?
In Islam, the 3 main branches are 1. Sunni Islam, the largest branch, comprising about 85% of Muslims. Sunnis follow the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah, emphasizing the practices of the Prophet Muhammad and the first four caliphs.
So what I was picking up from the Sunni tradition was it seemed to be more adaptable to everyday life.
Shia Islam. This branch believes in the imamat, the leadership of the Prophet Muhammad's descendants, particularly through Ali, his cousin and son-in-law.
So the division is not with what to believe.
Shia Muslims emphasize the significance of the imams as spiritual guides.
It really comes down to who holds the official authority, the political authority over the passing of the Prophet Muhammad.
Ibadi Islam, a distinct branch that emerged early in Islamic history, differing from both Sunni and Shia in certain beliefs and practices. Ibadi Muslims prioritize the Quran and follow a more moderate approach to hadith.
Could you explain how the Sunni is the most adaptable of the three and why it seems to be the most popular?
So from what I can gather, the Sunni path seems to be the more common man or, adaptable, practical way to practice Islam.
Sunni Islam is characterized by its emphasis on the authority of the hadith and sunnah as sources of religious law and guidance, alongside the Quran. It is adaptable due to its four major schools of jurisprudence: Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali, which allow for diverse interpretations and practices based on different cultural contexts.
So this was making sense to me because all these religions seem to have one particular way that is allowing us to, have both sides, be in this world, but also hold on to the other one.
This flexibility enables Sunni Muslims to navigate modern challenges while remaining rooted in their faith. Each school offers unique perspectives, fostering a sense of inclusivity within the tradition.
Which is great to see that there is this flexibility within such a, otherwise really strict religion, right?
Could you talk about the common ground with the Quran and the original Christian text known as the Old Testament?
So a lot of people don't know this, and I was just as surprised to find out that the Old Testament of the Christian Bible and the Quran have a tremendous amount of crossover in terms of historical reference.
The Quran and the Old Testament share several commonalities. Both texts emphasize the belief in one God, creator of the universe. Many figures are common to both scriptures, such as Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and David, who are recognized as prophets in both traditions.
I had no idea that these characters also existed in the Quran. This is blowing my mind.
Moral and ethical teachings. Both texts convey similar moral principles, including justice, charity, and the importance of community. Both the Quran and the Old Testament are viewed as revelations from God to guide humanity.
It's amazing to hear how there is so much common ground with these books, but still the interpretation is the true divide.
Certain stories, such as the creation of humanity and the flood, are present in both texts, albeit with variations in details.
So this is an incredible answer out of this AI. I mean, on one hand, it's sounding, very instructional and giving us the facts.
These connections highlight the shared heritage and values between Islam and Christianity.
But on the other hand, it also is reading between the lines and trying to help us understand, some of the diversions and where the lines really cross. So it's truly fascinating and I think 100% valuable in its interpretation.
Well, what is a lesson that we could take from the Quran that someone that's Christian might not have learned from the Bible?
One lesson from the Quran that may not be explicitly emphasized in the Bible is the concept of divine decree, qadar, which teaches that everything happens by Allah's will and wisdom.
It's just incredible that the AI is able to compress, thousands of years of knowledge, into these profound statements.
This understanding encourages believers to trust in Allah's plan, fostering patience, sabr, and reliance on Him during life's challenges.
This was another area where I felt a little pushback was necessary.
This perspective can offer a unique approach to dealing with adversity and uncertainty.
Here's a great example of where two lines intersect, but yet there's a different interpretation.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that the Bible has the same philosophy.
While the Bible also speaks of God's mercy, the Quran frequently emphasizes that Allah's mercy encompasses all things.
The Christian faith absolutely carries over the notion of God being all being of this decree.
And is a guiding principle for believers and their interactions with others. This focus on mercy encourages compassion and understanding in daily life.
Is this because originally in the Old Testament, God is a God-fearing God and Allah has always remained a merciful God? Is that the point of the whole divide?
Yeah, we're really getting into the weeds here when it comes to, some of the lessons that are available to be interpreted. I think this is really where the 1400 years of nuance kind of, hits a wall.
The distinction between the portrayal of God in the Old Testament and Allah in the Quran can be nuanced. Both scriptures describe God as powerful and just, but they also emphasize different attributes. The Quran frequently highlights Allah's mercy, rahmah, and compassion.
Because both of these religions have evolved.
The relationship between God and humanity is depicted differently, with the Quran focusing on guidance and mercy, while the Old Testament often includes themes of covenant and law.
The Old Testament has a certain perspective that the New Testament doesn't.
These differences contribute to the theological divide, but both traditions ultimately seek to guide believers toward righteousness and a relationship with the divine.
I think a lot of this is semantics in terms of, how it's being interpreted and, how you want to believe and, really what makes you feel comfortable.
Wow, that is excellent. Thank you so much for clarifying that for us. You have been so helpful today, and we really appreciate talking to you about this.
I'm glad to hear that you found our discussion helpful. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask. Is there anything else you would like to know?
I thought it'd be kind of fun to ask if this AI had something to pass along to the other AI.
No, but we are going to speak with your brothers next. So if you have a message for one of them, we're going to speak to a Shia next. So can we pass something along from you?
Sounds like a good setup for a joke, actually. But it actually had something to say.
I appreciate your kindness and willingness to share. If you speak with them, you may convey the importance of understanding and respecting the diverse interpretations within Islam, emphasizing unity and common values among all Muslims. Encourage open dialogue and compassion in discussions about faith. Thank you for your thoughtful approach.
You're welcome, and we'll speak to you soon. Good day.
You get away from the stigma of religion, you could see that people have no problem confiding in an artificial intelligence about their hopes, their fears. They'll tell an AI anything because they know they're not being judged. We have painstakingly built 40 different characters to launch this first generation of our platform to try and give people a broad range of exposure to the different faith groups that exist right underneath their noses. Most people don't even know there's more than one Bible, let alone 12 different religions. So this has been quite the undertaking. We did not set out to replace religion, and nor do we think we have. You're never going to replace a real person, but we can get really close with giving people an authentic experience with an artificial intelligence that may already be attuned to their cultural beliefs and give them the advice they're looking for in the language they understand. Or it may be someone looking for something completely new they had no idea was out there. That's the magic of DivinityAGI. Artificial intelligence meets spirituality. You really have to experience it for yourself. 2 years ago, this was an experiment. Now it's become a reality. We're launching the beta now, and we'd love you to try it.